Yes, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Tim. Just to show you what sort of products we're making in the in XTEK, we basically have world-class soldier solutions. So we focus really on the frontline protector, either the military or the police or the first responders in general terms. We have two kinds of products. On one side, we have ballistic products, shields and soft armor, hard armor, and helmets that protects against any type of bullet. We have another set of products that are derived from UAVs. We sell UAVs as well, but we sell a lot of applications, software applications that integrate the videos that you're getting from UAVs into tools that are necessary for the frontline soldier to be able to do its business. So going on to the next slide, the investment highlight is XTEK is a company we've just announced $42 million revenue for this year 2020. We're very well positioned for growth. We focused on a market which is very strong worldwide at the present time. The defense market is growing in the West considerably in the last few years to about 2% of GDP, which was much lower than that before. We focused on solutions that are market leaders in there. So latest technology, if it is most of the time our technology from now on, we use a lot of other technologies, but our technology is becoming more and more prominent in what we sell. We've accelerated our ballistic solution strategy, which in particular with the acquisition of a company in the US. We've developed a lot of actionable intelligence solutions, taking data from small UAVs and getting that into the soldier. And we have a strong outlook. 2 years ago, we had $17 million turnover. We did 37 last year, and in the year which just finished 42. So very, very strong growth, profitable in the last 3 years or 4 years. Next slide, please. So that gives you where we are at the present time. Share price in around 80 cents, but when this morning was actually 89, that was even better. About $40 million market cap, and a very strong growth in the last few months because we've announced a number of things in terms of the execution of our strategy that we'll go through in a few minutes. Our biggest shareholder is our chairman that has about 10% of the shares, and otherwise about nearly 1,500 investors into the company. Next slide. As you can see, the defense sector is actually growing very fast. The US is by far the biggest, as you can see, 891 billion. Europe about 300 billion. Australia is only 39 billion, which is still nice. So that really shows that if you have a product that is worth its capacity worldwide, I mean, the US is the first country you should go to. Europe might be second, and Australia, of course, we look at after Australia, but it's a lot less important. Next slide. So what do you need to sort of be successful in any new product? I mean, here we've developed that technology. It's a process by which, instead of using a way to press these plates or these helmets, we use what is called an hydroclave, which is a product on which you put the product inside. You close it, inject a liquid, and pressurize at 300 bars. It gives you the same pressure across the plate. That's what gives you the very, very even production quality on one side and protection on the other, which makes a difference towards the rest of the competition. We propose products that are up to 30% lighter than other products on the market. So you can see that it is massively better. When you know that a soldier can have 25 kilos on his back for a few hours and maybe 50 kilos on his back if he goes for a couple of days, 5 kilos of that is ballistic plates and helmets. So lightening his load is very, very important. That's why we have a lot of hope into that market that is worth several $billion a year. So, but having a process is great. You need products, and so we have developed a number of products, helmets as well as plates, and that we've presented to the market already. We've put together a manufacturing capability in Adelaide that we've opened up in February. We have actually bid in the international tenders. We've been successful in Finland on a major contract a couple of months ago that will be delivered before the end of the year. And of course, we've acquired a company in the US that is making armor products. They have their own range and they have their own factory, but of course they have all the distribution networks that are necessary to sort of be successful in the biggest market in the world. So the integration with them has gone very well in the last 9 months. They've been with us, and they contribute, widely to our turnover as well as profit. It was an accretive acquisition, and the integration is going extremely well. So we have all the ingredients basically to go from a position of having a process that works to a complete line of which delivers products and generate profit for the company and for the shareholders. Next slide, please. So we've developed the product, the technology. We've opened up the manufacturing. We've started with international sales. We're leveraging the US at the present time with this acquisition, and we target larger global orders, mainly in the West, of course. Next slide. So the other thing that we do in the company is related to UAVs. We do these small UAVs, 1.3 kilos. We have a $50 million contract with defense, and we do a lot of work in terms of support of these. There's another about $35 to $50 million worth of through life support that is secured by a contract, sole source contract with them for the next 5 to 7 years. Quite lucrative, which is very good. However, in terms of the applications that we have writing ourselves, we take a video feed from a UAV, and in a real time we sort of produce a geo-reference 3D mapping that you can compare with previous data, which allows you to have instant situational awareness and comparison with other pictures or videos that you may have had taken an hour ago, a day ago, a week ago. And that is absolutely critical to the soldier safety. So a lot of that has already been sold into the US market, into the Australian market, the New Zealand market, and a number of, we're looking at a number of other countries in Europe mainly. And we're sort of integrating this into armored vehicles and into larger products that actually monitor your situational awareness on the battlefield. It is also because it is photogrammetry, using photogrammetry, therefore very high accuracy, very positive in terms of queuing and targeting. Next slide. So we have other products that are coming as well. A small robot that you can throw that I can actually measure the density of chemical and biological threats and position that on a map that we've produced with the previous document. The XTclave technology allows us to do a very, very light material that is used more and more in the satellite business. As you know, the satellite business is booming, especially for small satellites. And we've recently sold a number of a contract to sort of with a company called Skycraft to a funding from the Australian Space Agency, which we have an MOU. Next slide. So in terms of the financial overlook, you can see we went in FY17 from 9 million to 1817 to 1937. 42 plus have been announced already for 2020. And we believe that in the medium term, the sort of products that we have and the size of the market and the sort of quality of what we can propose takes us into the medium term into about $100 million target revenue. So it's underpinned by the manufacturing capability on XTclave, the US distribution and manufacturing based, the established global network for exports, the continued SUAS supply and maintenance, growth in actionable intelligence, and interest in advanced composite material, especially in the space industry. So we have a large investment that we've developed now, and we're in a very strong position to capture increasing revenue and gross margins. and further supported by a recent loan. We've actually secured a loan of 2.5 million with the Commonwealth Bank. That is actually very good because it doesn't dilute our shareholders. But that also shows that banks are now, giving us money, which is always good. We've been profitable in the last 3-4 years, so it's good. But we expect an acceleration of this in the not too distant future. Next slide. I think it's pretty much it. Okay, thank you very much.
Luke, thank you for your time. A question around the lead time for a contract. Do you kind of expect things to ramp up quicker than the projected timeline?
Well, the timeline on contracts, government contracts, they tend to take quite some time to get there. It could be, up to a couple of years, and that's what we've seen in Finland in particular. A lot of what we do with the US in particular, and with HighCom acquisition there, tends to be in the law enforcement, and it's it's nearly ex-stock, and it's a very short lead time. So it means that the growth can happen very quickly.
And Australian Defence Force, is there any contracts there, and kind of what are you currently bidding on?
So the Australian Defence Force has got a long-term contract with someone else, and it's coming back for tender in the next 2.5 years. So we have a bit of time. So we're working on that. But for us, it's going to be it would be a small contract by any standard.
Right, and there's a question around here around revenue growth over the past 4 years. It's been impressive. Is that something you see developing in the future?
Very much so. I mean, the capacity that we have at the present time on the factory is about $40 million per year, which is coming online now. We can actually equip the second factory that we have in the US with the same machine, which has a capacity of another 40 million. So when we say that we're looking at being a $100 million company in the medium term, we'd have the capacity to sort of deliver that. With the technology that is up to 30% lighter than whatever exists, we think we can get there quite easily.
And is the plan for that revenue stream to be kind of an annuity style moving forward?
Sorry, I've got some noise around. What was your question?
Yeah, sorry. The question was around the revenue. Does it become like an annuity stream moving forward? The maintenance is very much an annuity on the long term. The others is distribution. In the US, you have 18,000 agencies that are police agencies that are buying regularly, and so they're very short-term things. They sort of buy and want delivery within 60 days. So that's a very that's a very recurring business, and you can rely on it very much. So it's not an annuity, but it's a constant business.